Hello everyone, and welcome to my Let's Play on the Lord of the Rings, the Battle for Middle-earth 2. This is one of my absolute favorite RTS games of all time, and it's definitely one of the ones I spent the most time playing as a kid. If it's not this one, then it's definitely its expansion, Rise of the Witch King. So now, let's go and head to the campaign. So for this Let's Play, we're going to be doing the good campaign, mainly because I just prefer it over the evil campaign. So yeah, let's begin. And for this Let's Play, we're going to go for medium, because it's not too easy, and it's also not too hard. Let's go.
In the final years of the Third Age, Middle-earth stands on the brink of destruction. The Free Peoples are under threat from Sauron, the Lord of the Rings, who prepares his vast armies for war. At this late hour, the leaders of elves, dwarves, and men come together at the Council of Elrond to decide their next move. After the Fellowship is assembled and heads south to destroy the source of Sauron's power, the remaining leaders prepare for the Dark Lord's assault upon the northern lands. The elven and dwarven races have always had little trust for each other, but now they must unite and fight a common enemy. Rivendell is a hidden refuge and stronghold for the Elves. Until now, this ancient city has been spared from the winds of war.
Glorfindel must go to the house of Elrond and inform the Lord of the approaching goblins.
So, right here we have our hero, Glorfindel. So, unlike in the previous game, there are now more factions. So instead of just 4, there are now 6, being men, elves, dwarves, Isengard, Mordor, and goblins. So yeah, quite a few new factions here. And Glorfindel is part of the elf faction. So starting off, he has his mount and dismount. This actually, his mount actually lets him get access to this power at level 6, Wind Rider, which is really good. We'll get to that when he gets that ability. But yeah, overall, he's one of my favorite elves in this game. And he's a really good hero, and he's also just one of my favorite Middle-earth elves to begin with, because he's really cool. And next up, what we're going to do is purchase the heal spell.
The heal spell can restore our soldiers' health.
And got a massive buff in this game. Why? Well, it still does the same thing, except... yeah. It's awesome now. It's now a lot bigger, so it's going to be really helpful. So now let's go have our elves attack these goblins. Yeah, so the goblins are now their own faction, and, well, to make up for their really weak stats and everything, they have 5 more troops to each battalion.
I've never been so close to Rivendell.
Yeah, I also really like Glorfindel's voice acting. It's really good in my opinion. And it's a shame that his voice actor hasn't been in more stuff, because he's really good. Alright, so this is a good chance for me to bring up stances. So there are multiple stances in this game. We have the standard stance where they'll auto-acquire onto enemies, but there's no buffs or debuffs added to them, which is nice. Then we have the hold ground stance. It makes it so your units will have more defense, but it'll make it so they don't auto-acquire enemies, and it'll decrease their attack. So only use this in certain situations where the AI is being weird, or for your swordsmen if you know you're going to be targeting a lot of enemies. Then we have the aggressive stance, where they'll auto-acquire when the minute an enemy is sighted, and on top of that, they'll get an increase in their attack and a decrease to their armor. So overall, you gotta use your stances pretty well in this game, for each situation. And the heroes can use them as well, which is really, really nice. So now we're just gonna go and basically slaughter all of these goblins. Can these guys please get through here just so they can fight off these guys? Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, right, another cool change, well, I say cool change, another, like, nice balancing change is, now your units, like your basic battalions, only get to a maximum of level 5. This was not the case in the previous game, before they could go all the way up to level 10, but for this game, it's just a maximum of 5, which is cool to me. And then your heroes still have a maximum of level 10. So it helps differentiate them a little more. And on top of that, heroes are way better in this game than in the first game. While in the first game, the heroes were still really good, there weren't too many of them, for the most part, outside of like Rohan, outside of the good factions. The evil factions finally got balanced out and have a lot more heroes to work with, or in this case, villains, I guess. But yeah, so one thing we're going to do really quick so these elves can get through this bit is just have them go into hold ground. And then we're just going to have Glorfindel and his troops just go in and take out all of these guys. Very nice. So let's get them back into their standard stance and get moving and head to Rivendell. Man, I really like this gate. It looks cool. Rivendell itself also looks really nice. There's also nice little statues here. Unfortunately, these ones don't give us buffs, but we'll be able to build some on other levels.
We must warn Lord Elrond.
Yep, so now we gotta go to Elrond, who's also talking to Gloin, who is also Gimli's dad. So it's cool that he actually stars in this game, even though, from the looks of it, he should look a lot older than what he is if you've all seen the Hobbit movies. So yeah.
What brings you back so soon, Elf? The goblins have come down from the mountains. They're approaching from the south.
I sensed this day was coming.
Long has Rivendell been safe from the servants of darkness. Its sanctity must not be lost.
Goblins? I'll take care of the filthy wretches.
So Gloin, similar to his son, only has... Okay, yeah, now we need to build more troops, but first of all, what I'd like to mention is that Gloin, similar to his son Gimli, only has 3 powers. Except for Gloin, his powers are kind of really good. He has Slam, which is similar to Wizard Blast, where it hurts enemies in a certain radius, which is really good. Then he also has Shake Foundation at level 4, which can do a lot of damage to a building. Finally, he has Shatter Hammer, which is his most deadly skill at level 10. You won't get that till very late into the campaign, but holy dump, Shatter Hammer's really good, because it hurts everything in a certain radius. Buildings, enemies, it kills everything. It's insane. And now Glorfindel has his level 3 skill, Blade of Purity. It's darn good. Blade of Purity is one of his best skills, hands down, because it gives him 100 extra damage and makes him invulnerable for 10 seconds. That's good. Alright, so we did not recruit any other soldiers, so we're going to do that real quick, just like 1 extra battalion. Oh yeah, and then there's finally Elrond. Elrond is, weirdly enough, a support unit. Alright, because he has the ability Farsight, which makes it so he can look at areas over here. And we can also see that these guys are starting to build up more, build their camp, which is really cool. And then he also has Atlas, which can heal other heroes.
Those of the mountains have seen the goblins approaching. They have sent word to Gwaihir and are now on their way to lend aid.
Which is nice. And then finally he has his leadership ability, which is really good. And then he has Restoration at level 7. He won't be reaching level 7 in this episode, but yeah, it's really good, because it acts as another heal spell, which is awesome. Then finally he has Whirlwind. Whirlwind is debatably his best skill, because it can change the course of a fight in a matter of moments. It's darn good. Also, ouch. Yeah, those mountain giants are really strong. Mountain giants are essentially stronger trolls, which is already insane to know, because right now some of our guys are getting slaughtered by these guys. Because trolls are now no longer nearly as busted as they were. And yes, Gloin got to level 3. Awesome. Alright, so now we're going to grab the Elven Gift spell. It does the same thing as it did in the first game, makes it so all of your heroes do 50 extra damage.
The Elven Gift spell can raise the attack strength of our heroes.
And now Arwen's here. Arwen is another new hero who we're not going to see too much of, similar to Elrond.
A goblin camp to the west of here.
But in this case, Arwen is really good regardless, despite only having 3 spells. In this case, she has her Mount and Dismount, which is alright, but then she has Flood.
Goblins are coming! They're just beyond the river!
Now,
Alright, so Flood is really darn... Okay.
clear the valley of the goblin filth.
Alright, now I think I can finish. So Flood is really darn good because it just hurts anything in the radius it points to. So in this case, if there's a bunch of enemies right here, you can cast Flood and it'll destroy all of them for the most part. If not, it'll do a lot of damage. So really good. And finally, she also has Atlas, which is really good still. And now, we have the Eagles to help us. Yeah, so we're kind of set now. Our victory's assured with the Eagles because we all know how busted they are. The Eagles are some of the strongest things in all of Middle-earth. Then there's Gloin, who's very slow. I'm sorry, buddy. Yeah, the one downside to Gloin, at least early on, his speed is like the dwarves, where they're not too fast, but they hit really hard. Gloin is like that, except the elves are a lot faster than him, so a lot of the time he'll be dragging in the back. Which is unfortunate, but oh well. But no worries, once we get to the dwarves, he's going to be a lot better. And weirdly enough, Glorfindel gets a little worse because he's not with his own faction. It's a little weird, but oh well. But anyway.
The Elven Wood spell provides an armor bonus for any allied units, as well as providing camouflage for elves.
Alright, so you all know how in the first game the Elven Wood spell wasn't the greatest thing ever, only because it takes forever to even be able to use because, well, it's very specific based on the based on the terrain and stuff, and it doesn't really work inside camps or anything like that. It was kind of annoying to use. In this game, it's a lot better because now, since there's no like designated fortresses or anything like that, and all the ground is usually the same thing, you can cast it wherever you want now. Well, for the most part, you can't cast it in mountains or stuff like that. And there's going to be a couple moments where it's not going to be as helpful, but that's it. But it got the buff of a lifetime. It's infinitely better than what it used to be. Which makes me happy, because I always liked the Elven Wood spell, and this is the game that made me love it. Because it got buffed so well. And alright, now we're just going to have to go and just basically destroy every last one of their structures. I will say, though, I really do love the way that the goblin structures look. They look really cool. Oh, wow, Arwen actually got to level 3. Was not expecting that. And now...
It's a worm! We must destroy it!
Alright, so the worm is going to be really, really tough. Because this thing is a summon, and summons usually take forever to kill. In this case, though, since we have the eagles and a bunch of archers, it will die with no problems at all. And that's it for this level. And we are victorious.
Under siege from the goblins of the Misty Mountains, Rivendell is no longer safe for the elves. As time is now running out, Elrond forms a plan to unite the elves and dwarves of the north against Sauron's advancing armies. His most powerful warrior, Glorfindel, will join forces with the dwarf leader Glorfindel to make war on the goblins and forge this alliance.
And with that, we are done with this level. So, guys, overall, really solid first level. Teaches you a lot about about how the elves play, and introduces you to a fair amount of their heroes. So overall, really fun first level. And also, the layout has changed quite a lot from the previous victory screen. We no longer see our actual units and their kills and everything like that, and I kind of miss that. It was really cool, and it's a shame that they just changed it. But oh well. But anyway, we still get this screen. We get to see some of our favorite units that we use. In this case, the Lorien Archer, because they were a lot of fun. And yeah, we did good. So everyone, next time on The Lord of the Rings: The Battle for Middle-earth 2, we are going to go to High Pass, which things are going to change quite a bit. So, thank you all so much for watching, and have a good day, guys. Bye!